Waiting for everyone to get in. All right, so hello everyone. My name is
Hello.
Sierra Hatfield. I'm Executive Director of NIA Center, and I am here today with Benjamin Robinson. So I will let him introduce himself in just a minute because his resume is extensive and impressive, and he is doing so much for the Black and Brown community in Grand Rapids. So first, I just want to welcome everyone back to another NIA Center Virtual Connect event. The first two things I want to remind everyone is number one, please mute yourself if you're not a presenter or a speaker. And the second thing I want to remind everyone is that this event will be recorded. So I want to give a little bit of a brief overview of the purpose of today's chat with Benjamin. So first of all, he has an amazing story and a track record of success in not one, but two different businesses, and with his own nonprofit dedicated to highlighting and uplifting minority-owned businesses. And I want to talk about that, and I want to frame it in a way that relates to our mission here at NIA Center, which is to, number one, reach out to community members, allow them to share their story. We do have an entrepreneurship and wealth building focus area. And so today's chat is just to, like I said, highlight Benjamin, allow him to talk about what he has going on in the news and the business ventures that he has, and to share that with the community. Really quickly, before we get into that, I have just a little bit of news. So also in relation to our entrepreneurship and wealth building focus area here at NIA Center, we now have 2 paid internship positions. If you or anyone in your circle has a college age student here in Grand Rapids, those positions can be fulfilled in person here at our office space on 300 Commerce Avenue Southwest, or virtually. And the next little piece of news I have is I just want to remind everyone to please, please, please consider coming out to support us at the end of next month, October 29th and 30th. From that Friday, it is noon to 7 p.m. and that Saturday, it is 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. But that is where we will be unveiling My Story 4, which is the 4th iteration of our My Story series, which always highlights a person of color that is either nationally known or very well known in the community. And it just allows them to share their craft, talk about their story, and it always relates to some of our different focus areas and of course our mission. And our mission is to be the foremost destination, this Tuesday feels like a Monday, destination and resource to share Black culture within Grand Rapids. My Story 4 is with a nationally known visual artist, John McDonald, who has prepared not 5, not 10, but 20 watercolor portraits of iconic, successful African-American women, including some local names. And that is a major art exhibition of John's work, all about sharing and celebrating the strength and success of Black women. So that is a little bit about NIA and a little bit about some of the things we have going on. So now I will turn it over to Ben. And Ben, I'm going to ask you to first introduce yourself. You're on mute.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, or is it It's Tuesday. This week is kind of busy and moving kind of fast. My name is Benjamin Robinson. I'm the owner of Robinson's Popcorn, Big Apple Bagels, and also the founder of United We Sell and Black-Owned Business Showcase. Also the founder of Home, helping others make endeavors.
Wow. Okay. So that was a new one for me. We've talked so many times coming up to this event, and it's like every time you're like, oh, by the way, I do this and this. And I'm just like, do you ever take a break, man?
Well, trust me, when you hear more about it, you understand that it's all one big part. It's all one big part. Just have different sections in it, you know.
Okay, so why don't we start by talking about that? It's all one big part, but it has different sections. So what does that look like?
So being an entrepreneur is awesome, right? But being a part of the community and a community grower is even better because you see things that are necessary, but you stick to the things that are personal to you. And being a minority business, a small business, and a middle class, those are kind of where my uh, desires of growth and strengthening are at this point. So let's say you ask the question, how do they work together? Home helping others make endeavors is a nonprofit that is basically built to help support minority families. I mean, no, middle class, not minority, middle class families that are spending extreme amounts of money on rent monthly. Our goals are to help get them on the course to be able to purchase a home uh, by understanding finances and having the right people in the room to help with those conversations. Um, the Black Home Business Showcase. I'm not sure if you want me to jump right into that's about. Well, we did that one last year in the midst of at the height of the pandemic. We basically had a lot of people who were off out here trying to figure out how to take care of themselves and stay independent because they didn't want to lose the momentum of being independent in business. So Woodland Mall asked me what I wanted to do for the month of Poptober, which is Robinson's Popcorn's anniversary. And I told him I had to pray about it. I love praying about things, not just moving. So I prayed about it, and the Lord laid on my heart to do a Black-owned business showcase. I'm sorry. So we had a total of 80 Black-owned businesses in Woodland Mall uh, with a 2 day stretch. It was 40 each day. Within 2 days, first of all, let me tell you that it was an amazing event. People flew in from Atlanta. They flew in from a lady from Baltimore. She was in the event. She's actually coming here this year to be a part of this one. People flew in from Vegas to support Arizona. People drove in, and it was an awesome event. $200,000 went through the Black community within 2 days. It was awesome. And out of that, 20 of those business entrepreneurs are actually 100% business owners and working for themselves. So 20 out of the 80 are actually working for themselves, which is awesome. I'm one of those 20. The Within the midst of the pandemic is when I bought Big Apple Bagels. I had a business partner that came to me, and me and her took it over. And I'm 51% owner of Big Apple Bagels right here on Kalamazoo Street. This is amazing. I will tell anyone, if you into the entrepreneur world, don't be scared to go out there and take it. It's here for the grabbings. So United We Sell is I can call it the sister of the Black owned business showcase because it embraces all brown, black and brown, as well as women. At this point, we want to make the minority the majority this year, and so we're basically having an opportunity to put 500 vendors in one location at the Deltaplex. We have corporate America coming down. Some of the sponsors plus other volunteer businesses are going to be coming down to check out every product and service in the event. After that, after a few hours of the corporate America being there, we're going to also invite the community to come in and support and be a part of the event by purchasing products from these beautiful minority businesses. And I'm here now. That's it.
You say that's it, like it's no big deal, but you just described so many, not just your business, but how, you're giving back to the community in these other ways and inviting the community in. And that's really what these, virtual connect uh, showcases are about, is to hear straight from you about what you're doing, what you have going on, and how you got there and the effect that it has. So something that I don't think you mentioned, but I do want to ask you about. So yesterday was the second day in Wayman Britt's Fulfilling the Dream celebrity golf outing. And I received one of your flyers from United We Sell. And I want to talk to you a little bit about, how was your experience engaging and supporting another event for, communities of color in Grand Rapids?
I gotta be honest with you. That was, if we could have made United We Sell that would have been perfect. I mean, it was beautiful, and I can say that because I was able to be a servant, and then I was able to and be entertained all at the same time. At one time, me and my children, which are awesome, and one of the main reasons we have a business because of their willingness to believe their dad, trust their dad, and follow their dads. Their dad. We were at this event, and you heard nothing but compliments and nothing but encouragement, and you seen it in action. I got to see people I didn't even know, Mr. Bill Man and India Man, but I got to meet them and shake their hands and hear their history and watch them uh, be abducted into the Hall of Fame. It was just awesome to see. Uh, the experience was just, it's well worth the time. I mean, it was worth it was an investment into yourself if you went and if you were able to be there. If you get to see the video, it was an investment into yourself to be around people of color, encouraging and moving and making influential moves inside our community.
Yes, absolutely. I completely echo your sentiments. I had the great pleasure of assisting with that event a little bit myself, and I was able to go to the little reception after. So 100% just being a part of something that electric. I think electric is probably the best way I can describe it, of hearing everyone come together and just saying, we got to put aside our differences if we want to get something done.
It was
So
so awesome, and I'm sorry to jump in, but it was so awesome because there was no party involved. It was just humanity and humanitarian work and concern for people. It was beautiful, and my 11-year-old and my 13-year-old had a ball. They had the ability to interact with many people, leaders, convincers. I don't know what you call them. I loved it. I love the people that was there. They were very genuine. Wayman, Mr. Wayman. I cannot call him Wayman. I gotta call him Mr. Wayman because he was just he's a class act. The things I've seen him do just in the little time I've known him is awesome, and I respect him a lot.
absolutely. Just a little bit of background information for our audience if y'all weren't familiar. Wayman Britt put together a little something something called Fulfilling the Dream Celebrity Golf Outing. And that event, as we were told last night, raised over $300,000 to go towards programming and capacity and just uplifting 8 different organizations in Grand Rapids that specifically serve underserved youth of color. And so I hate that Wayman is not here, or Mr. Wayman, Mr. Britt. I hate that he wasn't able to join us today, but talking about entrepreneurship and lifting up businesses and talking about community, it would be a disservice to him and everything that he was able to pull together yesterday if we didn't mention that. So, do we have a visitor?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're totally fine. So,
So this is the power of it. This is the the part of being at your businesses working and it's just part of it. So yeah, and what you said about Wayman, it would be something, it'd be absurd to talk about having an event for entrepreneurs and not bring his name up. I mean, or the ability to be a trailblazer without saying his name. He's awesome, and everything that we're doing is because of blueprint set up by people like Wayman for the next generation to be able to look up to someone else. And this is pretty awesome. And I appreciate being a part of it. Um, I bring my children up a lot. And I want to say that part because um, I'll tell you right now, when it comes to being a business owner, I'm second to my daughters. We actually, as a if anyone's ever met my children, my oldest daughter and my middle child, they are customer service and vision all right there. Those two right there are a deadly duel, and I appreciate everything they've done with us. We actually started our business. We got in the business world by selling T-shirts door to door that said "I supported Robinson's popcorn before they were popping," and we literally had no money. We had $50, took 10 t-shirts, and in 3 months turned $50 into $12,000. Took a space with no windows or doors, built it up, and now we're not even 3 years old, and we own a bagel shop, and we're in the community, and my children understand everything that we're doing, and that's for me, that's because I listen and watch people like the leaders before me and the leaders around me. It's a lot of leaders around me that's been doing this longer and have inspired me. I know I get told I'm inspiring, but I'm nowhere near as inspiring as the people I look up to for the things that I look up to them for.
Absolutely. So I don't mean to cut you off or anything, but I do want to be able to ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
I also want to invite the audience, if you have any questions for our friend Ben here, just type those into the chat and I'll moderate those and I'll be sure that if we don't get a chance to answer them today, that they will get answered by the end of the week. So Ben, the first question I want to ask you is, what do you think culture has to do with business and entrepreneurship?
Culture. What do I think? Culture. I think that this is what I for that question. I'm just going off the head. I think that culture has a lot to do with it because we like we're all black and brown, but we all have our own culture, our own style, our own way of doing things, and embracing that is something that makes you confident. If you can stay in your own lane, you'll know who you are. You grab the people that like what you do, and it's like when you're not able to have your own, be in your own culture, you're not able to be your own self. So you can't sell your product or your services the way you do well. And it's good for me. I think it's a good spot it's a necessary spot because myself, I just love people. So the popcorn selling, it wasn't what I sold. I sold love. So, and it's just, that's the culture. I think for me, I believe that's the majority of the culture of the black and brown community is showing love, support, regardless of anything, regardless of what position we get put in or the lack of position we had. Our cultures always show love. So I just think that it has to be embraced. Love. I mean, that culture has to be embraced.
Yes, I hear that 100%. Trying to think about, culture and community is so important because that's your base and that's your support, but then not losing your individuality and not losing your own leadership within that. I think it's definitely something to think about if you're someone who's maybe starting out and thinking about, well, I do have an idea for a business, or I would like to be an entrepreneur. So what other advice would you have for people in that position that they're thinking about starting a business or trying to turn their dream into a reality?
never leave your family out of your. If you have a family, never leave them out of your ideas or your vision. Make them part of it because it's so much easier if they're a part of it, and if you are pulling them into it. Uh, I could say, for example, right now, like I said, I bring my children up a lot because this is what they know. They know the word of God, they know education, they know sports, and they know business. Uh, if I don't know it and they don't know it, we'll learn it together. But this right here is what they do know. They have embraced the business side of the world, even down to my 6-year-old son. He knows that everyone has a job in the family. So I would tell anyone, put your family, your whole family in it.
I love that. And so I want to
I
ask,
can't hear you.
oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I love that answer. And I want to ask something of a follow-up question. So when you reached out and said, I have a story and I want to share it with you, and I went to your website just trying to do a little background info to, see what you were about and learning about the popcorn business. And I noticed that so many of your pictures on your website are of you with family and friends and kids and members of the community. So can you talk a little bit more? Because I know you said that community has to be a part of it, but how did you really get that support? Where do you think your success comes from in terms of meeting people and just getting people to follow you?
Well, honestly, where I think it comes from, first of all, is my belief, and who I believe in, and I believe that community wants to be embraced. So for me, it was putting myself at the vulnerability of my community, not so much of and sharing my vision and sharing my goals, sharing my vision, and the and then involving my children and my wife, having the whole family involved. It's like it's what people want to see. People want to see you, not just worry about how can I make money, but how can I build something, especially after 2020 has begun and we're still living the continuance of that. People want to see that people are more in tune with what matters rather than just the bottom dollar. The bottom dollar means nothing. I tell everybody all the time. This is my quote that I tell my kids: "People over profit." Someone said, you got to make a profit, but the bottom line is that you can invest in. I can invest in technology. That stuff changes all the time, but one thing never goes away is the investment in people. You invest in people, you make them do well, you do well with them, and your stocks never die, because the only way your stocks and people die is if there's no more people. And it's not by persuading them to like what you have, but making them see that you're someone they can like. And that's what's happened for my family. The biggest thing that happened was people love our family. It's not me, it's the family. They some people may like Joy, some people may like Stella, some people may love Irene. They love Pam, but they getting tired of Ethan, or they really love Ethan's attitude, but they love the family. And so I say what helped us get there was being able to be vulnerable to the community of where we were.
Right. And I don't want to lose what you just said about being someone that the community can trust and someone the community can see in this position and can see, your family and your family values and all those types of things. So we may have time for another question after this, but something I definitely want to ask you. So how important do you think representation is being an entrepreneur?
I think representation is. Are you talking about of someone else representing you, or what? Or
Well, I'm talking about from a DEI perspective. So having, a diverse representation as a business leader and being able to see just essentially
Yeah,
my
it's
question is how important do
very
you think
important.
it is? Yeah.
It's very important because I was listening to someone speak, and they were like, listening to a lady speak. I believe she's over the stems, and she was saying how uh, there's certain things that you would see going on, and you would say another ethnicity is supposed to be doing it because you don't see anyone in your culture doing it, and it's very important to see that we can be anywhere. We're not just labeled as a certain amount of things. Like we're not just entertainment. We're not just sports. We can negotiate. We can program. We can do coding. We can do a lot of stuff given the opportunity. That's probably my biggest word from 2020 is opportunity. Something that's not given, but we have now. The opportunity is now. They're giving us opportunities now, and I say they are giving because those, and I say that with a light hand because no one ever gives you anything. You can take what you want if you know who you are, and if you hang around the right people, then you're not looking for certain people who don't agree with who you are or your culture or your beliefs or your standards. You don't go to them asking them for permission, but you stick to those that actually appreciate who you are and what you stand for. And if it's only 20 of you, make the best of the 20 you got. It was last year. It was just six of us, me, my wife, my four kids. We put on an event at the Deltaplex. I mean, at the Woodland Mall. People were successful, not because we didn't go asking people, what do you think of this? We started doing what we felt we need to be done. So it's very important to have representation, but it's very important to represent yourself regardless of what anyone else says. I think that you have to step out there because you could be the one, you could be the next representation.
Right. And I almost wish that we could have had your daughters here because I'm pretty sure I saw them at the fulfilling the dream event last night, and to
Yes,
see
yes.
them and you and I knew they were your kids because I could see them look up to you with so much admiration. They were helping you pass out these different pamphlets for United We Sell. And I want to I want to be sure because I don't think we have time for any more questions, but I want to be sure that I share this information with everybody. So hashtag United We Sell. That's on Friday, October 15th at the Deltaplex from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., correct?
Yes.
And you are executive director, and Denia Birch is the sponsorship coordinator. And what I will do is when I share the recording of this event today, I will share that information as well. And this recording will be available by the end of the week for anyone looking for more information on that. Because I want to thank you for coming on today, and I want to be sure that anything I can do to help support not your one business, but your two businesses and your two different sort of nonprofits. I want to be sure that as a representative of NIA Center and as someone that is really looking to expand access and education about Black culture and all the different things that can help support Black culture in Grand Rapids, I want to be sure that I'm doing my due diligence to help people like you who are making a difference in the community. So I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And everyone that showed up today, I really appreciate your time. Corey Smith, God bless you as always, man. Paul Bellamy, thank you. Mike Yaz, Milk Yaz, if I said your name wrong, God bless you, brother. Appreciate you coming out. And again, this is awesome. Sierra, you're awesome. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Always, thank you. And I'm putting one last thing in the chat. If you are interested in learning more about the future virtual chats that we have every month here at NIA Center, always with someone new, different topics. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in becoming a member or learning more about our mission to build a Black Culture Center in Grand Rapids, I encourage you to visit that link. That is www.niacentergr.org/get involved. So I just want to thank everyone again for coming. It is 2:30 and we are ending on time. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.